Yo, Steve, bro,
Yo.
do you get sick and tired of these daggone scammers like commenting and stuff? Like, dog, like, come on, man. Like, and it be bothering me because it's like, do people really fall for this?
Yeah.
Man, sorry about the comment, but man, you look like you'll be a really good fit. Man, get the
Put your phone down.
Yeah, I ain't know what I wanted to do with it.
So the word we're going to start out with is hyperbole. The word is hyperbole.
Oh, you're going to have to define that one.
So hyperbole is the word we're going to start with, mainly because there is, starting with sports a little bit, there is a guy that's traveling far from France to come over here to play basketball in the NBA. And I use the word hyperbole because it's being touted that he is the greatest prospect ever, the greatest prospect we've ever seen in possibly team sports. Hyperbole. I don't know. I've seen the kid. He's 7'5", athletic, can shoot the ball, uncannily can handle the ball with ease. Something we really never seen before. Sweet stroke, coordinated. It's all. I think that's the biggest thing, the coordination. I think when you see people 7'5", Sean Bradley, guys like that, Yao Ming, they were big, but they wasn't agile. They really couldn't move other than playing down low on the block. But this kid, he's basically some saying a 7'5" Durant. But the greatest prospect ever. Is that hyperbole? Is that on point, Ivan? Do you think he can live up to that build of that?
Well, so this is what I'll say. When it comes to size, you can never teach that.
No.
That's one of the things that coaches will always say. You can never teach size. You can't teach athleticism. But what you can teach is the approach to the game.
That's good.
I believe that he will be a great prospect based on the fact that he plays overseas because their approach to the game is much different than the approach to the game here in the U.S. And from what we've seen over the past couple decades is when these international players do come into the game, they're ready to play ball right away.
Yes.
They might not have long careers, but they're ready to play right now.
And they're fundamentally sound as well.
Absolutely. They actually know how to use the square.
Yeah. They're not that our players aren't, but the AAU circuit really isn't built to some teams are, but it really doesn't build you from the ground up. You know, they kind of already pick from the athleticism you already possess. But when you see guys come over, mainly like Luka and Jokic, for two shining examples, these guys are unbelievably skilled. The game is easy to them because they let basketball happen.
Right.
You know, they just let the game dictate what decision they're going to make. That's why LeBron James is such a extraordinary player. He's always just let basketball be basketball.
Right.
And he just plugged this. Even when people ridiculed him about, you should always take the last shot, that's just not him.
Right.
He plays the game, quote unquote, the right way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Playing the game the right way doesn't, like in life, like I say, doesn't always get you championships. No. Like you can do the right thing in life all the time, but you can still get a bad outcome.
Absolutely.
That's how it
Charles
really,
Barkley.
Absolutely. People don't really realize Charles Barkley was extraordinarily great.
Extraordinarily great. A 6'4" power forward leading the league in rebounds at one point. Like that's absolutely unheard of.
Uncanny. Unbelievable. He was a juggernaut. But he ran up against like the largest solar eclipse we've ever seen in Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? He ran against a different planet. You know what I mean? And when you see something like Jordan, it's just unfortunate.
Yeah,
you know, it was one of those unfortunate things. But watching this guy Wemby being the greatest prospect ever, that means what is yours? What is his ceiling? Because if it's ever, what can he do? Like, is it championships? Is it domination from the beginning? There's some people saying that by year 3, he'll be the best player on offense and defense by year 3. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I haven't seen enough of the kid, but I'll say this, though. I'm a plug this. Scoot Henderson, you hear me say this. Scoot Henderson in this draft is like that. I'm not going to go on to tear about Scoot Henderson. You go look for yourself. To me, he is incredible. He has incredible pace. He's unbelievably athletic. I think he's one of the best athletes to walk into the NBA. He's just 6'2". Just watch him. He's not a miss. He's going to be that guy. But back to Vic. I don't know. I don't know. Guys tend to have foot issues like that when
large
they're
guys, back issues.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know the wear and tear on the 82-game season. It's just so many unknowns. That's why I think he's the greatest unicorn of all time.
Absolutely.
I think that's appropriate based on,
and that's absolutely fair.
Yeah.
I mean, 7'5" and can handle the ball like a guard and can shoot the basketball from anywhere on the floor, but actually can score around the basket. That's absolutely unheard of. And being 7'5".
Yes, that's uncanny. And the only question is, can it hold up? If it can hold up, then you're going to have problems.
Right.
You're going to have real problems because what you're essentially saying is I'm bigger than everybody. I can play just like y'all, but I'm a foot bigger than you. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like playing, it becomes like playing with a mismatch, like playing with I'm a foot taller than you. It don't matter if we are the same skill.
Right.
The height matters.
Right.
You can't.
Because what if you line them up at 3?
Yeah, you can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
He can put you down. Then he can shoot over you.
Yes.
So, there's a lot to be desired here. I don't want to put too much pressure on this kid because, the NBA is a different beast. He hasn't played in the NBA, hasn't played against American
different
basketball.
Speed. Yeah.
It's just different. The physicality over here is different as well. Even let's go back to what I named with Jokic and Luka. When you're talking about them, even they had a tough time with the physical nature. They had to get, they was getting bumped around and getting bumped out. So it is a different game over here. I'm anxious to see what he can do and how he handles himself. But, transitioning to how you handle yourself, sticking with sports just for another second, sort of a sports topic, but it's a little bit more engaging in terms of a more wider thought. But, right now, once again, Mr. Ja Morant, and it's been one of the most talked about subjects here over the last 72 hours. And by the time this air, the news will probably have filtered out a little bit, which is why I don't want to go in and he shouldn't be doing this, he shouldn't be doing that. I want to talk about it not a little differently, but, before I talk about anything, about the situation with Ja Morant. If people who don't know about the situation with Ja Morant, first time he was brandishing a gun in the strip club. And he got 8 game suspensions, broke the internet. Also probably stopped the momentum of his team during the run that they were supposed to have. There was number 2 in the West, got knocked out in the first round, I believe, by the Lakers.
Yes.
And now, maybe a month or two later, his boy was on live and caught him again brandishing the gun. Now there's a frenzy of topics about gun laws now, and it's about Ja Morant, and it's about the hood, it's about so many different angles that people hit it on. I want to know, Ivan, what's your perspective on the whole Ja Morant situation?
So I want to liken it to this, right? Because we're talking suspensions, we're talking about endorsements, and so forth. And he does represent another company. He represents a company. He represents the NBA.
Absolutely.
Represents the NBA. He represents his mother, his father. He represents his family as well. But he also represents his daughter. So we'll talk about legacy too. But I want to put a different spin on it because we're talking about the hood, young black athlete worth $200 million, 24 years old. But how many executives can we go online and find them with pictures with their buddies at a hunting site, holding a rifle? Okay, so
I see where you're going.
We make so much fuss, and we want to talk about gun laws and things like that when we see this young 24-year-old kid that's worth $200 million picking up a gun. Now, let's be clear. We're not making any excuses for what he's doing. What he's doing is absolutely foolish. You never should want to put your career in danger like that, and you should want to put yourself in danger. I'm not saying that the gun could possibly be loaded, but at the end of the day, what for? You're worth $200 million. You can hire security for that. So we're not going to alleviate him of the foolishness. But I do want to think about it like this. Why are we not saying anything about these white Americans that work in corporate offices that actually branch guns online? How come we're not speaking about them? How come their jobs are not in jeopardy? Their public image is not in jeopardy when they decide to do that, right? We don't even think twice about it. Oh, it was just a hunting. How y'all know they didn't come back from hunting? I mean, we don't know that they didn't. It don't look like they did, but we don't know that they didn't. And so what I'm saying is, if we're going to actually hold him to that standard, let's hold every American to that exact same standard. And the access for guns, I do believe needs to change. But it's not going to change his access to guns because, again, I repeat, he's worth $200 million. So really, at some point in time, we have to get to the point where he needs to be responsible, and trolling on the internet is not doing it. So stop trolling on the internet. But two, let's not try to publicly ridicule this man as America has done over and over and over again with any young black male tends to do anything wrong, because we can actually, slightly transition to what happened to Jonathan Majors recently. And we don't even have any evidence that he actually even put his hands on that woman, and we continue to keep getting publicly castrated.
Is hip hop culture the undergirding of this conversation?
I don't want to do that because, well,
the reason why I'm saying it, I'm talking about the response to danger. Because the difference is when they're holding, it doesn't seem dangerous. It doesn't, because that's why I say it's hip hop culture. Because what does hip hop culture say? I'm gonna get my gun and I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna blast you. I'm gonna get ops. I'm a ops. I'm gonna sell drugs to this. I'm gonna hit your girl. I'm gonna take your wifey. It's all taking and killing and hitting. Lately, it's not every form of hip hop. I've said this before, but is that for the corporations that's looking at this, that sell hip hop in their arenas, that sell hip hop everywhere, that bring the hip hop artists to their show? But whenever you see Ja Morant brandishing this gun, why does it make you afraid? That's why I said it's something undergirding the conversation that's being had right now. Because as you stated, again, I repeat, when you seeing that doesn't scare us, but why does this scare you? Because
Rittenhouse having a gun didn't scare anybody?
It didn't. Is it black fear? I don't know. I don't want to play that. I don't want to play that card. I'm just asking. Is that's what I'm saying? Is it not take hip hop culture out? Is it even just culture? Just our culture, the aggressiveness, the stereotype of even black men. Does those things play a part in how listen? His actions should be met with consequences because he knew better.
Absolutely.
But what we're talking about is this larger discussion that people keep having about it versus just making it about that. What is causing the uprising? What's causing the stir and all the different opinions that keep just matriculating all over the internet? And that's what I'm saying. What is it? Is this what fear? Why do we feel that we need to chastise him? Why do we feel like where is it really coming from? Everybody knows
because we always shoot our wounded and take them for dead. Steve, who's talking about this?
We are.
I mean, this is something that we continue to keep doing. Our wounded is down and hurt, and we continue to keep shooting them. Now, again, we're not making excuse for him trolling. The dude is, at this point, you're trolling, bro. You're trolling, bro. Come on, man. Chill. You're trolling. But at the end of the day, why isn't it that we don't see the danger on the other side? And does white America really consider it to be dangerous? Because they love our music. Dude, when I'm out driving, when I'm out riding in the car, because that's what I'm doing most of the time, out driving, delivering, and so forth. When I pull up beside somebody's car and I hear what they're listening to, they never look like me. They never look like me. So are they afraid of it? They're not afraid of the culture.
I think appropriation is they'll listen to it, but experiencing it, no. Would they being a part of it? I think they love hip hop. I think people love hip hop from other cultures, but they don't want to actually know why hip hop is the way it is. Because then you will have to answer larger questions. But then you will have to answer more questions. Then you will have to be a part of the conversation. Right. At that point.
And so that's what I'm saying. So again, we know that the elites are the one that's actually pushing, right?
Of course, absolutely.
But
absolutely,
who's actually are the people that are actually in fear that's driving the conversation? Because they to them, that's never coming anywhere close to them.
Facts.
So who's actually driving that conversation? And I really feel as black people, we've got to start to do better instead of actually shooting our wounded. Like, he's a kid. He's 24. Steve, come on. Think about when you was 24 and the kind of errors you was making when you at 24.
And we still making them now at 30 and 40. Yeah, we all
40. Yeah.
And it's and that's the thing. Like, you know, we keep having all of these discussions and everybody's preachers and everybody's ethical monsters and moral monsters, and everybody has the answers what people should and should not be doing.
Right.
Like, we have to learn to bring our own in. We have to learn culture. Other cultures don't let their people hang out, no matter the atrocity. You know what I mean? It's about strengthening your culture, strengthening your people. You know, it's not anti anything. It's just, you know, bring that young man in.
Right.
Bring that young man in. You know what I mean? Because, and also, I didn't intend to go on this rant with that, because but you brought it on, is that we have to be more mindful of how we use our conversation collectively amongst the masses when situations like this happen. If we don't amplify this, it probably ain't as big of a deal. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, but it's not a 24-hour news cycle. If you're one of the guys on the on ESPN First Take, or you on this, let's have a real conversation about how we, bring this man and restore him back to where he should be versus.
Because I don't know. What does Stephen A. Smith have to say about it?
I mean, they gave their normal lecture, their normal chastisement of it.
And what's my other guy?
Shannon Sharp.
Shannon Sharp. What's Shannon? And the thing is, it's like,
Shannon Sharp. They got into it with T. Morant at a Lakers game and Ja Morant. So I think it's a little bit more to that. I'm not saying it is, but it might be a little bit more thicker blood to that. You know what I mean? And Shannon got a bully. When you have a bully pulpit, you have to be careful how you use it.
Yeah. And
it's having a microphone in the spirit that we live in is extremely dangerous.
Absolutely.
Because the flow of information.
Yes.
The flow of information is so prevalent now. It is actually how we move ourselves to one place to another. And everything is information and ideas.
Yeah.
That's what everything really is.
Yes.
Speaking of that, just kind of closing out before we get to our next topic. Mm-hmm. With Ja Morant, we just have to raise our young men better. We have to let them know.
Well, his dad out there with him.
I'm just talking about as a collective.
Oh,
because
got you.
As I can't speak individually, I think it's tacky to speak people's individual situations. You don't know what that man said to his son. Yeah. You don't know if Ja Morant was being rambunctious. You don't know if he was being defiant.
Right,
you don't know what he tried, because we all parents.
Yeah.
We know what our kids do.
Yeah.
This is why I'm saying, this is why the collective conversation has to be responsible.
Yes.
It has to be responsible.
Yes.
I'm not saying you can't say Ja Morant get right, but when we start trying to add narratives we know nothing about,
absolutely,
or psychoanalyze this guy, just let life happen and be and encourage and just you do better in life.
Right.
You know what I mean? You take the plank out of your eye, because you don't know when that spotlight turns to you. How do you want people to handle you?
Right.
How do you want people to handle you at your worst moments? He may be everything everybody's saying, but we as a people, black men, black women, people in our culture, everywhere, just in the whole entire white man, everybody, give grace.
Yes.
Give grace.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
What's sin abound, grace much more abounds.
It does.
And that's not sin, but you know what I mean.
We are now in an era where look how fast the Morant news traveled. AI. We are now in a different, I believe we are now living in the postmodern era. I think now we are in a phase to where life as we know it will no longer be. I'm not talking about trivial things. I'm not talking about semantics. I'm not talking about debates. I'm not talking about how we feel, our religion, our money. AI effectively will change the way we do life. I don't know if that'll be from a perspective that is conducive to human evolution or the demise, or will we be reduced? But it's here now. We used to talk about it, Ivan. We used to talk about AI. But now AI is actively exerting itself into our civilization. Because I believe personally, artificial intelligence is a civilization that's easing its way into ours. Go ahead and speak.
It's coming, and there's nothing that we could do to stop it. The only thing that we could do at this point is now figure out how we'll want to actually manage it and how it's going to manage in our society. Unfortunately, from what I can see and how I feel, a lot of people are going to be replaced.
Yes.
A lot of people are going to be replaced. And the reason why they're going to be replaced is because they've never done anything to allow themselves to reach their level of excellence. You know, we all are capable of doing a lot of different things, but reaching your level of excellence is something that only you can do.
Absolutely.
And so many people that, you know, we waste time, we spend time doing other things and not wanting to perfect and not ever becoming perfect at it, but continue to keep working at that thing to become excellent in it. And AI is going to come off being excellent in it immediately. So when you look at how the fast food industry is run.
Yes.
When we look at how the retail industry is run, I don't know if anybody's paying attention to this, but nobody goes out to shop anymore. They've reduced that to websites. What runs the websites?
Artificial intelligence.
And I don't even think people have even realized that big box stores are going away. Bed Bath and Beyond is gone. And and that's one of the largest retailing stores that is going to be leaving the Marshalls, TJ Maxx, Home Goods brand. And that's one of the top retailing brands out there in our market. And so now we see that they're gone. You know, in previous times, we see places like Circuit City go away. We see Best Buy go away. All I'm saying is AI has already started to take over some of our retail spaces. Now they move over into the fast food industry. And you go into like a McDonald's, Taco Bell's, and there's a couple of other main chains. You don't speak to a cashier anymore. You go to a screen. What's running the screen? Artificial intelligence. You're typing in your order. Now, you still got people in the back doing it, but now that artificial intelligence is going to speak to the robot to actually make that sandwich because they're going to do it so much more efficiently and they're never going to get tired.
So, convenience or catastrophe?
Catastrophe. Because what's going to happen is we're going to go to a place where we're going to actually, that's why FedNow has come out. We're going to get to the point where there's going to be a universal income.
Okay.
Because there's going to be so many people out of work.
I agree with that.
So there's going to be so many people out of work. We're going to get to a universal income, but that universal income is not going to be enough for you to survive off of. And so what happens? You increase the level of crime. But now you actually have robots that are run by AI that are going to pick people up. And with FedNow possibly being in control of how you're going to receive that monthly, weekly, or bi-weekly stipend when you go to the universal platform, universal income, what happens when you get a parking ticket now? What happens now if you...
you think that will adjust?
I think what they'll do is they'll automatically take it from your stipend. You ain't got to worry about paying them first. They're going to get their money off the top. It's kind of like
because it'll all be digital.
Right.
The currency will always be digital.
It'll all be digital.
Everything is simply going, even the dollar, they're showing, everything is collapsing into a digital space.
Right. Because why? Because AI can run it.
Yes.
And if I have control over the algorithms for AI, now I can just sit back.
So we're in a fight for information and algorithms.
Absolutely. And we've been giving it away for free for so long.
Absolutely.
People, if you don't know this, please stop using your debit cards and use some credit cards. And stop clowning people for using credit cards. Credit cards are smart. You're using other people's money. Then you use your money to pay down those credit cards. I just wanted to put that in there because I hear so many people online talking about, oh, he had to pay for something with a credit card. Why would you be giving your data to the bank for free? They're getting your data. They're getting they know your routine. You're gonna get a Starbucks drink every Tuesday morning. And so when they kind of start to understand that about you, they can understand your health from wearing these different watches. Like, you just don't understand that you're giving so much of your data away for free for AI, and you don't really understand how AI can literally control everything in your life. I mean, we got Alexas and the little Google pods in our house, and we're talking to it.
But essentially, don't we lean into it? Because we're taught that it makes us better because of the convenience. I don't think I'm a proponent of AI because I want to see the world. Listen, part with it may be some catastrophes. I'm not sure if the whole world would go into flames right away. I think we'll become an advanced civilization, not just America, but I think AI will make us whole, basically. I think it won't be countries. It won't be just us. I think AI will, once it officially, the singularity happens, I think that we'll be one world because it'll be ran by one mainframe in terms of artificial intelligence. It won't, they'll describe us the way they want to. That's just my belief. I don't think it'll start off the way we're thinking, even in our lifetime, maybe.
Oh, I don't think it's going to start off that way, but I also don't think it's going to get to that utopia. And the reason why I don't think that it's going to get to that utopia is because I believe that the hierarchy that's been set up here in this world, here on Earth, is it has to be separated by money. And what you're speaking of would be beautiful in the event that money was not involved.
I think money would be, I think it'll be different. I think currency would be different. Totally different. I think the way we look at it, I think it'll start off with us finding out how to find ourselves. We'll find that because I think we'll have more time to not do frivolous jobs, but be able to do things that can help us grow. How long we'll be able to do that, I have no idea. And these are just speculation. This is just speculation because I've always been fascinated with artificial intelligence and its contribution to our society.
You didn't watch enough Terminators.
Terminator 2 was my favorite, though.
Yeah.
Terminator 2 was my favorite. It was my favorite. With the T-1000. Was it the T-1000?
I think so.
The dude was like liquid. He was going.
Yeah.
A lot of symbolism in that, too. But, AI for me, I do believe it can. When I say advanced civilization, I don't mean perfect. I don't mean righteous. I just mean the technology is so advanced they were able to find out different things about what the earth can do. Different codes that you can unlock on the earth. Different mathematical equations that you can adhere to manifest things. Because that's what it's really about. How do we manifest the life that's living in our head, and how do we get it out? Can AI help us clear some of that clutter in our head to help us understand? Because I know we operate.
Well, that's what Elon Musk's going to do.
Is Elon Musk operating at a different level? Is he operating? Let's be honest. I know we don't like to talk about this. Is Elon Musk operating differently? Because he's getting ish done. I don't care if you agree with it. I don't care if you think he's the Antichrist. I don't care if you think he's diabolical. I don't care if you think he's ruining society. He has power. He has almost, everybody's not paying attention, Caesar-like power. He's creating conglomerates. He has name recognition. He's rockets. He's in so many different industries. Like people, and here's the thing about Elon Musk. People haven't figured him out yet. There's no pattern to him. There's no rhyme or reason to him. The other oligarchs, the Warrens, they're fat calves. They sitting back. They just sitting back and collecting.
I think there's some patterns though.
There are patterns, but
so the full autonomy car. Okay, so you built your company based on electricity, right? I needed to run on a different type of currency, or I need to run on a different type of frequency. Okay, so we move to a different frequency because if I understand everything about that particular frequency, I will be able to actually rule within that frequency. So I get a bunch of electric cars, started there. Now I get solar panels on your house. Now I start to build my robots that actually can do all three. They run off electricity, they're solar, and they're actually artificial intelligence. Now to the point where I get them inside you. So what happens when you have all of those things running off the same frequency? If something gets out of line, it can literally change everything.
Yeah.
Your car can stop working. The way you heat your home can stop working. The way that you feed your family, depending upon how much these robots are actually going to do when it comes to AI, and the way that you're going to be able to get around. Like everything could change all at once by you being able to have so much understanding and so much work within that particular frequency. And so because I believe that he's putting it all in the same frequency, I believe he's going somewhere, because that next step is the chip.
Yeah, of course.
And so all of those things being connected, if you're connected to all those things, I can shut them all down at once.
Yeah. No doubt that.
And I think that's, to me, I think that's the pattern. Yeah. And then he also trying to get, he's trying to make us a multi-planetary society.
Yeah. I think there's life, other planets.
Oh, yeah,
I
absolutely.
believe there's life on other planets. I think that we've been so endowed in so many different things that has not allowed our minds as a collective to open up and truly explore the world as it is, not what we were taught. I think there's so many different ways that we can access information. I think that ancient Kemet, ancient Egypt, our ancestors, I think they were able to access them because they allowed their mind. They weren't bound by colonization as much as I believe that we are right now. We're colonized not just in geographical terms, but
let's just be clear.
But our mind.
They had a lot of information.
Yeah.
I mean, they came up with the golden rule. I mean, math is not math without Egypt. So
this is a mathematical universe,
right? Exactly. Everything is
run by angles and math. And
it's literally everything. And so they definitely tapped into it. I mean, come on, there's a reason why there's these different energy fields when it comes to these pyramids and all of these great temples, and even things like Oculus and DC. They're built on these grids on purpose. So absolutely. I believe that they tapped into something. I believe that they got to a certain place, and I don't know if we're going directly back to that place or we're headed towards that direction, because I don't believe that we've gotten there yet, because I believe that they were actually endowed with a type of knowledge that we've not yet seen on Earth. I don't know. I'm not saying that it's not already here, that it doesn't exist.
I think it's already here. I think that the information age now has opened up. I think the portals has opened up to us, and eventually you'll find the secret knowledge. Eventually somebody's going to put it together. You see guys on the internet all the time putting it together, and you're seeing certain type
like Billy Carson.
Say what you want. Say what you want about him. But a lot of his stuff is legit. You can say what you want, believe what you want.
Yeah.
And if you, here's what we got to do, Alvin. One of the things I want to talk about, dealing with just not him, but people like him, people like Joe Rogan, whatever you believe, people that's sort of outside the norm of our colonized thinking and ideas about the world. We have to learn to unburden our bias.
Yes.
Seriously. I didn't say get it away. I said unburden it. Take the weights off of our bias and let the flow of information be natural.
But Steve, you know why that's hard? It's because we've been programmed for so long. Like when something is being programmed, it just continues. It'll get to the point where it runs on autopilot, just program, and it's so hard to break the program. You literally got to get a factory reset sometimes. You know what I mean? It's like a cell phone.
Sometimes hearing new information doesn't mean that your information is wrong. It just means that you get to prove your information to that thing that you're listening to and say, okay, well, I got this information right here. This is what I do. I listen to everybody, but I'm centered in what I believe.
Right.
But I'm also say, okay, I also allow truth to jump inside of me whenever truth is spoken.
Right.
Even if I'm diametrically opposed coming into listening to or reading about this, I have to open up my mind to allow myself to have new information. It doesn't mean right information for me. It just means I need to make sure that I'm not missing the mysteries that I could be getting to unlock the things in my life that I need. And sometimes it just doesn't come by the information that you covet, the information that you keep trying to. It's kind of like trying to work an equation and then it's not working.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm not getting to the place.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm not getting the equation that I want. You're not getting the equation because you haven't added all the variables. You hadn't added everything that could be added because you reject this formula. You reject that formula. You reject that formula.
How do we get people out of the natural rejection to those particular things? And it's not even that you have to.
I can tell you why too.
It's not even that you really have to agree with it. You don't have to agree with it.
No.
Just allow yourself to actually listen to it.
There you go.
All you got to do is listen to it. I mean, I know people that sat in churches for 60 years.
Absolutely.
And didn't learn nothing. Absolutely learned nothing. Other than getting to the sweet by and by. I'm sorry, but there's so much more than just that. And so you listen to that for 60 years. Why not listen to something else for 60 seconds and just think about it subjectively? Nobody said change your thought pattern. Nobody said change your religion. Nobody said change your belief system. All we said is just listen and give it an opportunity to see whether or not if it balances against truth that you already understand or not.
And that's what I'm saying. Just measure. And it's not just go out. And I don't suggest people to go out and listen to anything.
Absolutely not.
What I'm suggesting is just unburden your bias.
Yes.
Try the Spirit by the Spirit. See what's available to you in this. And that's the thing with religion. It's not bad. It's just sometimes doesn't allow you to see what lies beside you, in front of you. Some of the things that you could get. At its core, religion is good. We need morality clauses. Yes. We need to be guided. I don't know if man can govern himself. I don't know the answer to that question. I'm glad we have all these mechanisms to help guide us in our moral journey, and I get it. But it's also, you also have a responsibility for your entire...
Well, he told us we didn't need a king, so clearly we can't govern ourselves.
Maybe we can, maybe we can't. But how we do that, and I always like to talk solutions, even with the AI, even with us going, we have to learn how to properly detach.
Yes.
When we get attached, we have to know how to properly detach or properly attach.
Yes.
Because we get attached to things. We get attached. This is the whole thing. Once you get attached to something, brother, inevitably when you pull away from it, it's going to hurt, right?
Yeah.
When you pull the tape away, it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
But put mechanisms in place. Whatever you pull away from, your religion, and whatever you pull away from, whatever pulls you a little bit further than your concrete thought process, it's going to hurt a little bit. But that's why you got to set yourself up to know how to attach. And then when the detach happens, it's not as terrible. It's not as, your cognitive dissonance is not as, oh my God, like this. You're able to do it and understand. And first of all, you set proper expectations.
Absolutely.
What do we do? What we just talk about? You don't have to change anything about what you think about the world. I'm talking about Muslims. I'm talking about Hindu. I'm talking about people who believe in this and people who believe in that. I ain't talking about one group of people. I'm talking about all of us as a collective, because I believe we're missing the secret mysteries of the world by division.
See, Steve, if we could get rid of that part, if we could unburden our bias, we'll realize that we're all connected and we'll start changing things.
Absolutely. That's oneness has always been a part of my conversation. Not everybody. Oneness is not everybody doing the same thing. Oneness is harmony.
Yes.
Oneness is us. I'm a Muslim. You're a Christian.
But we can work together.
Yes, in harmony. Now, I talked about this before. What if Malcolm and Martin decided that being a Muslim or being a Christian shouldn't be taking precedence over?
Isn't that what Malcolm and Martin was doing? If Malcolm and Martin, which that was never going to happen, because I don't believe that there's anything by chance. I think everything happens exactly the way it's supposed to, right? But let's do a what if. Let's pretend like we Marvel right now. What if Malcolm and Martin was still here right now? The writing was on the wall. Those two were about to actually connect in a way that they had never connected before. And if we would have seen
that's good,
take
Ivan.
place in our community, where would we be right now? So we're talking about 30 years ago, 40 years ago, right? Where would we be right now, 40 years of being able to build on that type of harmony?
And man, that's where we all come in at now.
Yes.
I think that's why we talked about these situations. We just wasn't talking about AI to talk about conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
We're talking about what do you do now? Now you have to unburden your bias. Now everything's connected what we talk about, right? Now, see, AI, I didn't talk about AI to say I love AI and let's just talk about it, because it's a real thing in our world. And we can't run from it. We can't say just we're gonna have a problem and die. So the solution is now we have to get information. We have to get information about the world now, about how the world actually works, about everything in the world. Will you accomplish it? But I'm talking about really taking a look at it, because it was hard for me for a long time to look at the world as it is, not demonize the world, not try to separate yourself, not be self-grandizing about the world, but looking at the world as it is. Because if you look at the world as it is, then you can insert yourself, your beliefs, your thought patterns, your process into it and make it better.
Right.
But if you don't actually know about the world, then you making assertions that are criminal to me, that is intellectually robbing us of getting to a place to where we can see let's go connect it again, Elon Musk, and say we can know his patterns because we got information. We can say, nah, that ain't right. We can speak up as a collective and we can take control of the world, because it's millions and millions and millions of us, but there's 13 families running this world, and that it's people at the top, it's the elites, the conglomerate, whoever you want to call them, that are pulling the purse strings, but we're down here suffering, worried about universal basic income, we're worried about people taking our jobs, worried about trivial things, arguing over semantics and scriptures and calling preachers out, worried about things that's going on that has nothing to do with what's actually happening in our world today. Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's real things going on in our world right now. I'm not just saying this just to say it. This is me. This is a message. This is the gospel right here. It is happening right now.
Right.
And you can't run. It's like COVID. You could go to Australia. They had COVID.
Yes.
You can go to France. They had COVID. You can't run. You have to run to the face of what's going on. That's why I said convenience or catastrophe. You know, I asked you that question because it's going to be both.
Exactly.
It's going to be both.
Yeah.
The question is where are you going to sit? What impact will you make? How will you try to further human evolution? This is far past our belief systems.
Yes.
This is far past our political parties now. This is far past our skin and our race. This is human level alert. This is a human level alert right now. It had nothing to do with anything that's why I said unburden your bias. Everybody get rid of what you thought, anything you thought was right or anything you thought was wrong. You will be living in a postmodern era. I don't care how smart you are, how intelligent AI has showed you with chat GPT. And that's just the bottom line. That's the bottom feeder of AI.
That's what they're willing to show you right now.
That part.
That's what they're, and see, the thing is it going to be convenience or catastrophe, or will we find a way to burden our bias and to connect? Because if we are all connected, those 13 families can't do anything.
Absolutely. And then here's the thing, Ivan, then we get to influence AI. See, that's what I'm going with it. We get to be the influencers of AI. Right now, they're studying the data. They're studying us, but there's something answers to something. And these are no longer conspiracy theories. This is no longer pie in the sky. This is the reality that we're living.
Right.
This is the reality that we are living in. Our world is about to drastically change. We have to unburden.
And we're still talking about not hanging with your brother because of something that they done or used to do.
The stuff like forgiveness, the stuff like getting over, that stuff is now, if you don't have those tools now, you're going to suffer in this world.
Absolutely.
Because the world is going to be moving now at the speed. We talked about this last podcast. The world's going to be moving at the speed of light. It's May already.
It's May.
It was just January.
It was literally just December. It was literally just January. It's May.
It's May.
Hold on. It's May 18th.
And May 23rd is a special day, too, by the way. That is my baby girl's. It's her first birthday. I'm telling her happy birthday right now.
Oh, man. Happy
birthday. Listen, Liana Shalom Talbert, Daddy loves you very much. Listen, I'm going to tell you, she's my youngest. Ivan, she has been my saving grace through my hard times. Her presence was a gift, and I cherish her. I love all my other kids the same. No, I don't. Yes, I do. Sort of.
No, you don't.
Kind of, sort of. You love your kids differently.
Absolutely.
It's not the same type of love.
It's not the same type of love. We got the same amount of love, but it's a different type of love.
Stuff like that. This is okay.
Right.
Happy birthday, Liana. Stuff like that.
Right.
We have to teach our kids how to function. Stop this. Oh, you don't love me the most. I don't love. Stop it. Everybody has a different set of how our parents deal with their kids.
Right.
Yeah, it's the same love. You will do the same. You'll die for all of them. Let's put it like that. My love is I'll die for you.
Right. Facts.
Now, how we measure how I express myself to you is differently from all of them. But Liana has been a saving grace. Her innocence, she just came here for me. She's here for me for the first year. So happy birthday to my baby girl. Lolo, that's what we call her. So, and I'm proud. And this is why this is what made me go on a journey to unburden my bias, to look at the information that sits in front of me. Not things that I didn't know about, not things that's not living in this world today, I love history. I didn't live with Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. I wasn't here when Jesus was here. I wasn't here when Moses was here. I wasn't here when any of these guys existed. And they were great and they did great things, and I applaud them, and I take a lot of their characteristics. I see a lot of their moral clauses. I see a lot of their ethics, and all those things are unbelievable. The miracles, all those things. But I'm living right now. How do I solve my problems right now?
What will you do now?
That's what I'm saying.
What will you create now?
Yeah, how do we, because we've been created to create. So how do we create a better world right now? And this is not pie in the sky. We have to be prepared for what's about to come. The world is about to move at the speed of light. The world is already moving fast, but now when the faster information travels, that's how fast time looks like it travels. Because time is an illusion, but it feels like it's going to go longer. People are going to, I don't know the outcome. I just know that here's something that we can start doing. Let's look at information. Let's share information. That's why I say unburden your bias, because people never get rid of their bias. But you can take the weight off of it a little bit, so you can say, hey, Tim, what you said, I don't agree with everything you say, but man, that does connect the dot to what I believe.
Yeah.
That Ivan, I don't know, I can't go that far with you, Ivan, but
right.
What you said right there did help me.
And it's really just getting to that point.
That's it.
It's really just.
I don't know the answer to anything else.
Right. Because the longer you exist, the more you realize you don't know. You gain so much knowledge, you gain so much information, you can regurgitate so many things, you can drop so many different tips of wisdom, but the longer you exist, the less that you realize that you actually truly know, because there's so much more information that you chose not to know at a much earlier time in your life, and you're just now getting it. It was like the things that you thought you knew, you really didn't know.
There you go.
And you will continue to keep repeating that process. That's why I say the longer you live, the less that you actually know. And it's just amazing that we're here now. But with us being here now, please answer the call. Like, just burden your bias just a little bit. Because we don't, again, you ain't got to go and change everything tomorrow. That's not going to happen. That's not how that process starts.
No, that's good, Ivan.
But it's just by tuning into a pod like this one, going and reading a book outside of the one that they say you shouldn't read. Go there for informational purposes only. You know, one of the reasons why I was able to excel when I was in ministry, I was able to really excel in ministry. The only reason why I was really able to excel in ministry is because I actually read books outside of the ministry that I actually served, which actually helped my belief system in the truth that I was actually learning. But I was able to find out how it expanded over other things, but it only helped me to solidify my own truth.
Absolutely.
But I opened my mind up to other things, which allowed me to be able to gain that truth, that foundation, that belief system. And I believe that everybody's truth and foundation belief system can actually happen the exact same way. Theirs might not come a way of religion. Theirs could become in business. It could come in some type of art form. It could come in some type of conversation or a relationship. But in whatever way it comes, just burden your bias just a little bit and allow that to just take place.
And here's the culmination of that. Because the creator of the universe is the sum total of all that was, is, and will forever will be.
Say that one again.
It is split. He split its consciousness into every living mechanism that exists in this world. Even this microphone is made up of a living organism because we put the right formula together to make it operate in the way it's supposed to operate. Right. Everything is a living organism. Everything is just energy, and energy cannot be destroyed. Know that you will always be.
Yeah.
That's what I'm learning. See, I'm not there yet, but I'm realizing I'll never die. So I'm getting less and less afraid of physical death and more afraid of dying while I'm living. Unburden your bias. As you can see, we talked about Wemby at the beginning. And think about Wemby. He's a unicorn, an alien, something we've never seen. Sports always introduces those unicorns before a cataclysmic shift happens in the world. Sports and movie and TV kind of already give you and warm you up to all the new technologies and new things that's coming along. And we've never seen anything like this. And it kind of goes in the theme with Ja. We never seen somebody make a mistake like that. Like 8 months later, it's a lot of we ain't never seen before. And going on too with Elon Musk, we haven't seen the charismatic. We've seen guys like what's his name that on Facebook? Jeff Zuckerberg.
Bill Gates.
Those guys was
Steve Jobs.
Conservative guys. They never really. Elon Musk, that guy pushes the bounds. We talked about that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And then we talked about AI and its impact on our world, but we just didn't talk about it from a level of just, hey, this is it. We talked about it in form like, hey, guys, how can we get ready for this phenomenon that's about to impede in our society, something that hasn't happened because we've been living on easy street, I ain't saying things been easy. I'm talking about from just the world at large, not what we do to each other. Yes, the world, life is hard, but now we're going to encounter something different. I truly believe that. How do we get ready for it? I don't have all the answers. I don't know if this answer is right, but I know that, maybe if you looked at the information, you may be able to equip yourself. And I've equipped myself with information so fear doesn't equip me with information.
Right.
Fear tell me that you have no hope. And for the right information tells you You can be strategic in your hope. You can be strategic. You don't have to be hoping, wishing for things, but you can. There's actual ways to mechanically get to a desired outcome. And I think one of the first things we can do is unburden our bias. But listen, guys, I thought this was a fantastic conversation tonight, man. And I think it represented, what we do here at the Deep Surface Experience is try to share our experience and also share the experience at large with the world and bringing the deep issues of the world and speaking to them on the surface. So you guys subscribe at the Deep Surface Experience. Follow us on Instagram at the Deep Surface Experience, on YouTube, the Deep Surface Experience. We will be great, and you will be great. We out.